And we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's watch party of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And we have our special guest, Cecil of Goodbadflicks. And I'm joined by my partners in crime at CREATORVC, Dom, and our fearless leader, Robin Block, who has a special message for all of you.
Yeah, look, I'm just here just to say thank you to everybody who supported and backed In Search of Darkness Part 3. We were really, internally, we were really nervous about Part 3, especially as we were going to be hosting the crowdfunding on our own website instead of something like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. And the campaign and the success of the campaign, which raised basically $600,000 in 25 days, just blew our minds. And it's a huge reassurance that you love what we're doing. And yeah, for the whole team, we're so pumped for Part 3. We're going to have the most fun with this one. Also, huge thanks to Cecil and Goodbadflicks. Every time we work with Goodbadflicks, we succeed. So very, very grateful to work with Cecil. But yeah, so everyone who's backed is going to hear from us later this month. We're putting together the mechanism right now from which we're going to be able to sort of do a survey. We really want to listen to you. We really want to go hard on co-curation. Like, we really want you, the backers, to feel that you have really influenced what we're going to cover in Part 3. And I'm really excited. I don't think anything has been done the way we're doing it before. It's new for us, but we're taking it very seriously. And I'm super excited about the next few months going into production and actually bringing you all along on that journey with us like never before. The community here we've got on YouTube and Discord has been magnificent. If you've been here since day one, thank you. There's lots of cool stuff in the works, and I really want everyone who's supported In Search of Darkness Part 3 to feel like they're part of this journey with us. And that's all I wanted to say. It was huge. It was a huge validation for us. And, we're going to end this trilogy on a massive, massive high. And I can't wait to have you be part of it, to help guide us, to make this something that's truly special for all of you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. So, Robin, are you going to be staying on with us a little bit?
I'm gonna leave you to do your thing. Cecil, love your channel. It seems to be getting better just all the time.
Yes.
Where are you with your subs now? It's over 300,000. Where are you now?
I think I'm at like 330 right now. So yeah, it's onwards and upwards.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yes.
It's just been magnificent seeing the growth of what you're doing, and it's a huge privilege to have you come and join us. So I really appreciate it.
No worries, man. It's pleasure's all mine, man.
Excellent stuff. Well, I'll let you guys crack on and enjoy the movie.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Well, again, Cecil, I'm super excited to have you on today because I'm a fan. I've been subscribed to Goodbadflicks for forever, it feels like. And that's my, my go-to. You're one of my top go-tos where I need any retrospectives, trivia, information. You are the man. So I'm super excited to have you here for this very fun watch party of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And I'll be interested to know in the chat if this is your first time watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space. And while you're answering that, let everyone know that our sync point is going to be where it says of the Chiodo Brothers production. That is our sync point for the film. But yeah, so before we do our countdown, I just want to hear from Cecil and Dom. Kind of when did you first see or experience, I should say, Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah, Cecil, why don't you go first?
Okay. I was very little, and my sister was a really big fan of horror films, and she's more or less one of the reasons why I got into horror in the first place. And she's terrified of clowns. Me, I'm not terrified of them, but there definitely is a creepy element to them that I understand why people would be terrified of them. So when this movie came out, it just was really cool. There was something about it that was unique. And I remember watching, I think one day she had rented it on VHS, and I saw like a little bit of it, and I thought it was like really unique. And shortly thereafter, I remember I was home on like a Saturday or something, and I was flipping channels, and either HBO or Showtime or one of them was just starting to run it, and I was like, ah, you know what? I'm gonna watch this. So I sat down and watched it, and I loved it. It was the perfect amount of camp and really cool creature effects, and the monsters themselves, the clowns, were done in a way that was so unique. It was like they took
Mm-hmm.
the creepiness of the clowns, distilled them down, and made them into these things that are just they're just really effective. And I've always loved it, and I have actually was really lucky that in a way of things kind of coming full circle, years later I did the video on killer clowns, and it was one of my earlier videos, so that in my humble opinion the quality is not the best, because I was still doing it for free essentially back then. I wasn't I was just doing it for my friends that were watching it. And John Massari, who did the score for Killer Clowns, had seen the video, and we got to talking over Facebook and kind of became friends. And I was helping him to promote a event that they were doing where it was going to be Killer Clowns Live, where they had a full orchestra that were going to do all the music from Killer Clowns, and they had the Dickies there, and it was this whole big event. And and so I helped him kind of promote that, and he actually got the event and put it on CD, and I got like a special thank you in the liner notes. So in a way, I'm kind of part of Killer Clowns history.
Yeah.
So, it's just that kind of stuff really, really reinforces like that I love what I do.
Yeah. Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
And
as for me, I first watched it. I have no idea how long ago. I was way too young to watch this movie. Similar to Cecil, my older brother was the one who got me into most of the films I watched as a kid. I think the only one that was really my movie that I showed him was, oddly enough, another Chiodo Brothers production of Critters. But when I first saw Killer Clowns, I had no idea it was done by the Chiodos. I didn't really pay attention to that kind of stuff when I was in my single digits. But I watched it on VHS. I loved it. I remember playing it again and again and again for the main theme. I love the soundtrack of this film.
Yes, which we'll get into for
definitely. Sure. And the fact that you're part of the history of this, Cecil, is awesome. It's so incredible.
If I could go back in time and tell like little, however old me, hey, one day you're going to be a part of this. What? No, it's just crazy to me to think that. But this kind of also goes to show how tight knit a lot of the horror community is, and how like cool so many of them are, that that we all kind of do come together, and for something that's scary for a lot of people, it provides a lot of just friendship and a lot of community and a lot of just goodness that kind of pulls everybody together.
Exactly. Cool. Well, thanks. On that note, we're going to start the countdown. We're going to jump into Killer Clowns. So everyone, the sync point again is of a Chiodo Brothers production. And I'm going to count down now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I love that ambience.
Yes.
when they put the creepy elements of like the old movies, there seems to be more effort put in there, you know, even as something as simple as just the titles on a space background. It just works.
Exactly.
Now, while the intro is playing, I'll kind of talk a little bit about how the Chiodo brothers came up with it. Chiodo brothers are three brothers that have worked in special effects. They are, you know, really dyed-in-the-wool hardcore guys who know how to do practical effects. And one day they were sitting around talking about what is the scariest thing in the world. And they said they had agreed that the scariest thing in the world that could ever happen to you would be if you were driving down the road by yourself late at night and you looked out the door and you saw a clown floating next to you, like invisibly driving a car. They said that would be the scariest thing you could ever see in history. And that's actually a scene that they put later in the movie. But they had decided, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if we made a movie about that, about clowns? And so they worked together and they came up with the idea of Killer Clowns. And they wrote the story basically to revolve around the structure of the Blob. If you watch this and you watch the Blob, the two films have a very similar structure, because this was like their first. They had worked on movies before, but this was the first one that they kind of handled all together. And what they did was they came up with the concept of Killer Clowns, but then they were afraid that people were going to think that it was a slasher, because slashers were really popular at the time. So they added the from outer space to let people know, oh, okay, this is going to be a sci-fi film, or this is going to be an homage to those old 50s sci-fi films.
Yes. And didn't the Blob come out? The Blob remake came out the same year as
the Blob
Killer
remake.
Clowns.
Yeah, Blob remake came out same year. Actually, oh God, what's his name? Jovis Kozel, who was the pyrotechnician on this, was also the pyrotechnician on the Blob remake.
Oh, sweet.
And he went off to do huge things. He went off to work on Independence Day, and he was in charge of the big White House explosion. So there's a lot of talent here.
Right.
That seems to be a running theme with these old 80s horror movies, that talent blossoms here and goes on to do like blockbuster movies.
Right. That they get started in horror and then they move on.
Yes. Sam Raimi, James Cameron, like all, that started in these small little films went off and are making the $100 million features later.
Right. Now we see here the two characters with the ice cream truck. And I have a trivia for the chat. What other 80s horror comedy featured two best buds who owned the ice cream truck?
I'm not even sure if I know this one. Oh no.
Yeah, I think you got me on that one too. I'm like, who else had an ice cream truck?
I was thinking of like a duo like in Return of the Living Dead. Like they have a similar vibe.
So Phantasm is close.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about Phantasm, yeah.
So Once Bitten.
Oh.
Jim Carrey and his two buds with the ice cream.
Oh God, it's been so long since I've seen Once Bitten.
Yeah, you can see how many times I've watched Once Bitten. Too many.
No such thing as too many.
But so the actress here who plays Debbie, she's a familiar face in 80s horror.
We have a question from Onzi for you, Cecil. What happened to the sequel for Killer Clowns, and why is it stuck in development hell?
I have a very depressing story with that. Talking to John, going through, I was like, I actually haven't talked directly to the Chiodo brothers, but I've talked to John many times, who is in constant contact with them. And essentially what happened was they have gone to every studio you can imagine, and they've basically run into the same brick wall. They go there and they say, hey, we want to make a Killer Clowns sequel, because they own the rights. And the studio is like, we don't want a sequel, but we will give you I don't know how much, but let's just say an like ridiculous amount of money. We will give you $20 million to buy the rights for Killer Clowns from you, so that we can take it and make a remake of it with CG. And they're like, no, I want to make this as an all practical effects follow-up to the film. We love this, and we think that the fans really would love to see this as a sequel. And so some of the studios have basically been like, all right, you know what, we don't want to work with you. And then other ones are like, okay, if you want to do if you want a remake, we'll pay you $20 million. If you want to do a sequel, we'll give you like 200,000. And wow. So they're like extremely lowballing them. And as you know, I mean, this was $2 million. This was a $2 million budget, right? 1987. So for them to try to do a practical effects version now, decades later, for even less money, it's just not possible. So they've tried to drum up interest. They tried to do like a Indiegogo to get some money together to kind of put together a little practical effects teaser that they could take to the studios and whatnot. And right now, I mean, they're just not interested. They're like, we all they want is a remake. It's kind of the problem that Fred Dekker is running into with the Monster Squad. It's the same thing. He has a brilliant idea. I've actually talked to him on numerous occasions, and he's told me a little bit of his idea. He doesn't want to like completely spoil it and get it out there and have somebody else rip it off, but he's giving me an idea of what he wants to do. And he's like, I go to the studios and I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do a sequel. And they're like, we'll give you the money. We'll pay you to buy the rights to make a remake, but we're not going to give you the money to make a sequel. And it's kind of depressing. So yeah, the Kyoto brothers right now are just in a holding pattern. They're trying desperately to make it because, I mean, they're not getting any younger. Right. And eventually it's going to come to a point where they're, I mean, not that they're that old, but this making a film is very exhausting, and it takes a lot of time. And there's a lot of times where it'll start and then it'll just stop for whatever reason. Right. And so so disappointing, because there's so many crappy sequels and reboots that don't have as much fan adoration and and desire and want for them to come out. And it's like, I just feel like you got to know how to read the room, and these studios are just, they don't know how to read the room. Like, this is what the fans want, the demand is there. The audience is absolutely there. I think, I mean, this isn't, if they did a sequel, I mean, tempering expectations, it's not going to make $200 million, but I think it'll more than make its money back. And they're just not looking at the, they're not looking at the bigger picture. They're not looking at spending, let's say, $10 million and making back $50 million. They're looking at spending $100 million and making back $500 million. Right. So, and you're not going to, as much as I love the series, as much as I love the movie, you're not going to make $500 million on Killer Clowns. Exactly. Now, getting back to the movie, can I just say that this actor who's playing the old man with this dog, he is like milking it. He's like, I'm going to be in this movie for 5 minutes, and this is going to be the best 5 minutes ever. Yeah, this will be my 5 minutes. Exactly. He does own it. He does. And our first look at one of the clowns. Oh, the big clown was under the clown suit was Brett Leonard, who he went off to direct the movie The Lawnmower Man. Yes, the 90s gem, The Lawnmower Man. Early 90s, yes. So it's just one of those neat little things where it's like, oh, the clown under there went off to make The Lawnmower Man. I love The Lawnmower Man.
you're cracking up just a little bit again, Cecil. Is everything okay, mic-wise?
Oh no,
It's getting every now and then a little crackly.
I don't. What happened before was it seemed that VLC was, because I was watching the movie off of my DVD of using VLC, and it seemed like that was where the issue was. So now I'm actually streaming the movie, and that seemed to eliminate the issue. But I don't know. There's nothing else I can really do to fix it. I hope
it comes and goes.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes.
Technology. I think Zoom just doesn't like me.
Now, Officer Mooney, I think his name was John Vernon, the actor.
Yeah.
And he's a familiar face from, wasn't he in Animal House? He was like the dean or something.
Yeah, he was Dean Wormer.
Yes, yes. And I really like how he plays this role. Just he's always a straight man, plays it very seriously.
Yeah, he's great.
Podcasting at its finest.
He is he's a terrific character actor, and in a movie as silly as this, it's wonderful to have somebody like him who is playing it 100% straight.
Yes.
Like no winking at the camera, no like, oh, and he's all in.
Exactly.
I love him.
Exactly.
Even when, spoiler alert, he has a bit of face paint on, he still plays it straight.
Right. And it kind of goes back to the theme about the 1950s kind of alien invasion blob movies, where you have the older people in town not believing the young people, not taking them seriously. You know,
the teenagers, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy teenagers.
Crazy 30-year-old teenagers.
Yeah, I had the worst with that. I think it was cheerleader camp with Leif Garrett, who I think he was like 35 when he was playing a teenager. It's like he had widow's peaks, and it was like, all right, guy, maybe it's time to hang up playing teenagers.
Yeah, maybe just a bit. I've just unlocked a memory. That like radio / flashlight that the guy's carrying. I had one of those. I used it all the time. I wore it out. Had like 3 separate lamps on it. It was amazing.
Oh yeah. I think I had one of those too.
The travel buddy. No, wait, that's Gremlins.
Oh yeah, the bathroom buddy.
Bathroom buddy, that's the one.
Now, if I see a circus tent in the middle of the woods, I'm going home. Like,
how could you not go and investigate?
Listen, I'm going home.
The Scooby-Doo kid in me wouldn't let me not investigate. So I'd be dead. I'd be so dead.
Yeah, I think a little bit of curiosity in me. I don't know. It would depend on who I was with. If I was alone, absolutely would not investigate. But if I had some people with me, I'd probably go check it out. Why not?
Right. I would stay in the back of the group, of the pack. You guys go
be the first to run.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. Look how inviting it is. It's like an escape room.
And I think there was a deleted scene where Deb talks about her fear of clowns. I don't know if it rises to like the Phoebe Kate's moment in Gremlins, where she's talking about her problem with Christmas. But she does have like a little backstory about why she's afraid of clowns.
My dad dressed as a clown for what holiday? Well, my birthday, there we go, and went down the chimney and died.
If memory serves, I think what happened was they had a cut where that and another scene were in the movie where they were escaping, but they got sent to cable networks. That wasn't the theatrical cut; it was like their extended cut, and that had the scene in there where she was explaining how she looks like clowns. But the Kyoto brothers actually say the theatrical cut is their cut, because the version with her talking about that and the version of them escaping, they say it kind of slows the film down. And we don't necessarily need to hear her that she's afraid of clowns, because that's just one of those inherent fears. Like,
right.
You don't need to be, explain why. Like with Gremlins, okay, this is why she doesn't like Christmas. But here it's like, okay, yeah, we know that nobody likes clowns. Oh, look at that beautiful matte painting.
I miss the old arts like that.
Looks a little bit like Forbidden Planet.
Yes. They put just some outstanding effort into this stuff. I mean, now
Yes.
it would, not to constantly bash CG, because I have a buddy of mine who he used to work for. Well, he used to work. He worked for ILM. He actually worked on the last Star Wars movie, and he's awesome. And he's given me a lot of insight into why CG is so maligned, and it's usually because they're rushed. You have a lot of producers who are like, yeah, fix this. And it's like, but the movie's coming out in like a month.
Right.
And then and then they rush it and then it doesn't look good. And so
right.
It's a lot of, so it kind of gives CG a bad name. But still, I think that, I don't know, I always go back to the old practicals.
Yeah. And, with the budget of $2 million, they had to be creative. They had to be inventive to bring this vision to life,
I should have brought popcorn for this. Damn.
Oh, that would have been the perfect treat for this movie. The directors themselves worked because they wanted to put every bit of money into this film, so they themselves took a very, very small paycheck for this. Like they wanted to put everything into this film, and it shows. I mean, it just everything looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a passion project, and that's one of the reasons why they've held on to the rights. I'm sure that they could easily have made a nice bit of cash from selling the rights off.
Oh yeah, they could have sold it and retired.
Yeah,
but they don't want to. And I can guarantee that any remake of this just would not work. Like it's not going to have the passion behind it. It's going to be a total corporate studio thing. Whereas this was their vision. They wanted to make it, and they did. And that's why, all these years later, people still love the movie.
And that's why the theatrical cut is their cut. They did what they wanted to do, and that's something that you rarely see, especially when studios are so, biting at the heels of the creators. It's very pleasant to hear that the theatrical cut is their cut.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's so frustrating. It's one thing I run into a lot of times where I'll be talking to a director and they're like, yeah, we made our cut of the movie, but then the studio was like, no, and then they take it and they'll re-edit it and then just release it, and then the movie comes out and everybody hates it.
Right.
It's like that because that wasn't the movie we made. That was the movie that they delivered.
Now, is this the first film to feature aliens as clowns? We've had the Xenomorphs, we had E.T., we had the Mac and Me aliens, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but I think this is the first movie where the aliens are clowns, right?
First one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
The only one that comes to mind for me.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, no, well, I suppose it. It was much later, of course, but
yeah, but it wasn't an alien. It was the transdimensional demon or what have you.
Yeah, it's very peculiar.
I mean, out of all the, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's it. I think this could very well be the only movie that has ever, the first and only that has ever done clowns. You know what? I mean, there's been a lot of clown movies, like Clownado, which is a real thing, believe it or not. But a lot of Clown Motel and all those movies. So as of more recently, it is very possible that there might be a movie where there's clowns that are really aliens. I honestly don't know, for sure. But I would say this is more than likely the first.
Yeah. And it's really interesting. And I think it's really smart because it's so disarming. Because, you kind of creeped out about them a little bit, but clowns are supposed to be fun. So by the time you kind of are getting to what's going on, they already have zapped you. It's just totally disarming.
I also love the way that they incorporate different clown behaviors, like the whole tying up with a balloon animal and then using that animal to sniff out their prey. It's great. And the clown movies like Clownado probably are just clowns that kill people or spin in a tornado, I suppose. They don't take it. They don't take what
killer,
yeah. They don't take what makes a clown and then bring that to the forefront and make it scary / funny. Oh,
this soundtrack right here, like when they're going into the town.
There it is. Sharon found it. Clownado.
Perfect. Now I know that you said that he had redid the soundtrack with the orchestra, but it's something about the synth music with kind of the clown music is just perfect for this film.
Oh, snap.
Oh yeah, I love that they I love the synth score in this, but I do think that it's cool that they were able to do it, on a grander scale. Like, I don't think it would have worked in the movie as well, but it's one of those neat things to hear all these years later.
Exactly, especially if you could hear it live. Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah.
We have an update on earliest clowns that have been from space. Mad Matt 42 has got an image of a Doctor Who 1970s to 74, the John Pertwee years, of an episode or a series of them, I'm not sure, called Carnival of Monsters.
Huh.
But the 70s. Doctor Who did
go, Mad Matt.
You know what? I should have said there probably was something in the 70s, because if ever there was going to be a decade where they would do it, it would be the 70s.
Just some clowns and a monkey doing Tai Chi outside of a store.
Exactly.
That happens all the time. I love it.
So creepy.
Yeah.
And for the longest time, I thought the Sheriff Dave was the bully from Karate Kid. That actor.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Say it. Say the line. Yeah.
There it is. He said
we
the
got
thing.
It.
Also a little thing here, just to throw in. The Kyoto brothers were also the creators. They created the look of the Krites from Critters.
Yes.
So I actually have I have two little resin critters on my desk, and I have a prop replica, like a full-size prop replica of the Krites. I love critters.
Yes.
I'm jealous. I want one.
They also did the effects for what, Beetlejuice? Is it Beetlejuice?
I don't know about Beetlejuice. I know they did Monsters, the TV series, Ernest Scared Stupid. They did
no, not Beetlejuice. It was Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
There was a rumor when I was a kid. I think I heard it again recently that the Ernest creatures are essentially the same models as the killer clowns. I think I spread that rumor a lot as a kid as well. I assumed it was fact and just spread it out there on the playgrounds. No one knew what I was talking about.
Well, it's not so much that the Ernest Scared Stupid monsters were, but I mean what they kind of share the same system. More, they were the same bodies and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just kind of so yeah, it's not also not altogether false.
Also, that line in the film, he's like, "You're not going to make a dummy out of me." Little foreshadowing there.
Oh, it's like a Punch and Judy show. Oh, actually, I'm the only English person here now. So Punch and Judy was this show in the UK, essentially this, where you'd have two dolls, and it was very wife beater heavy. It wasn't something that is shown nowadays because it's a horrible thing. But yeah, two dolls that would just constantly fight each other. Very similar to this. And kids would gather and love Punch and Judy. There we go.
Yeah, we're starved for entertainment back then.
Incredibly. I wish it had this kind of production value. I still question the fully grown man who's standing alone in a gazebo laughing at this, though.
And again, it's the setup. It's like, instead of just coming out and zapping him, he puts on this little puppet show, draws him in, and then zaps him.
Yes.
So it's the clowning part to the killer clowns. Oh, that laugh.
That sinister laugh.
Oh.
Yeah, how do you even like comprehend? It's like just go hide.
Yeah. Anyone who's worked in retail has had an experience like this. They have to have. Not quite this extreme. But, you know, a customer that is messing around and it's more than your job's worth to get rid of them. Yeah, Hansi's right. The guy could just be high and enjoying the show.
Yeah. A little more trivia for you. This was shot primarily in Santa Cruz, California, in about 6 weeks. And this was filmed not too long after they finished shooting The Lost Boys.
Oh, okay.
Just in different areas. I mean, Santa Cruz for The Lost Boys was largely on the boardwalk.
The boardwalk, right.
And this is in the actual, you know, like town portion.
Right. Sparky John asks, says Susan Snyder Debbie also appeared in 3 other sci-fi horror cult movies during the 80s. Do you know what they are? I know one of them was Return of the Living Dead? Is that one of her films?
Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say, I'll let everybody else kind of.
Now these little scenes here of them going around to the townspeople. Hilarious.
My wife would kill me if I asked a clown to deliver chocolates like tonight. Dom, is this from you? She would not be that pleasant. No. She'd just.
Listen, I love pizza, but not that much.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody really enjoying that. Oh, it's like 9-10 o'clock at night. Here's a clown with no.
They are. Yeah, the clowns are clearly anti-diabetic, and oddly enough, I am diabetic. So yeah, getting clowns to deliver chocolate to me at midnight. Multiple reasons why I dislike that.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, the gun, the models that they have for the weapons, they are awesome. Like they spin, they glow. They're just a big showcase of effects, and everything moves and functions. It's better than just having a single gun that shoots a single laser and turns them into a cotton candy. They have multiple weapons, and it's always fun.
Exactly.
See what they're going to pull out next.
I think the weapon, one of the weapons, I think it was popcorn weapon, is actually, they spent a lot of money on that one to have it be functional and to have it actually shoot out popcorn and work.
At least once. They only need to work once.
Yes.
As long as it works once and we get it on film, that's all we need.
Oh my God. Yeah. Could you imagine the merchandising tie-ins they could have had back in the day with those guns and the toys? And I mean, now they have that. Oh my God, that would have been awesome. I would have loved to have one of those guns.
Yes.
Well, I know not too long ago, they did license out the clown masks to like one of those mask maker companies. And they were pretty spot on. They weren't cheap, which is why they looked good. But I I think it was like one of those one and done things, like they did it for like a year, and I of course didn't find out about it until after the fact. And I would have gotten at least one of them, and hung it up somewhere, and probably scared the crap out of myself every time I come into my office. Oh, right, the clowns in there.
This film, the running time is around 88 minutes or so, and the pacing is really good, I think.
Yeah. It's a tight film. It starts off and it doesn't let up. It keeps going.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, really, because I think it's one of the problems. I mean, I really feel, a movie is as long as it needs to be. There are some movies that are 3-4 hours long or whatever, but they work. And then other movies are like 90 minutes long, and you're like, oh my God, this is so slow. So, but yeah, if you've got somebody working on the film that they have they have the vision, and you have a really good editor, and it all just comes together like nicely. Like I agree, man. This does not it does not slow down. It
not
is just
all.
Perfectly paced.
And this is one of the
hilarious.
best. Exactly. So I'm just gonna say it's one of the best scenes.
Just destroying that prop.
I know they were like, you have to get this done in one take. We
can't rebuild it.
Exactly.
I love it.
And they did really clever things, like to kind of hide the seam on the masks. They have like the hair to kind of cover it up. So that's just just knocks his block off.
Right. And the bikers grab. They don't try to jump them to do them.
Just run away.
Damn. Exactly. Oh, someone from our chat said just like Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was at the Friday the 13th reunion years ago, and Miguel Nunez Jr. was there, and he was there with the head from that they got that Jason knocked off. And he's like, more people want to get pictures of the head than they want to get pictures of me.
There you go. It comes full circle talking about that movie and that actor, Return of the Living Dead.
Exactly. Yes, the answer to Debbie, she was in Night of the Living Dead, Night of the Creeps, and Weird Science. Now, this scene here creeps me out as an adult now on like a whole different level.
Yeah,
the clown luring the little girl out. And the hammer's like, what is he going to do with her? He's going to knock her out?
Yeah, the one thing that makes me laugh and smile is the fact that he's hiding so poorly the hammer behind his gargantuan body.
Yeah, Susie Snyder was also in a movie called Retribution, which is a really, really underappreciated kind of horror thriller movie that is really good.
I have to definitely check that out. I don't think I've seen that one. Retribution. Okay.
Yeah, check it out. It's a really cool movie. Yeah, it actually it got like 2 Blu-ray releases. Like so it's recent, like, and the one that just came out is maybe within the past like year. Because it's one of those ones that came out, it got like a remaster, and then I think the new one came out as like a 2K restoration. Really neat movie about like a guy who he's an artist who is depressed, and he goes to kill himself, and he kills himself at the exact moment when a mobster gets gunned down, and the mobster wants to get retribution. So he goes into the body of the guy who just killed himself, and then goes and gets his revenge. And it's a neat movie.
Oh.
Sparky John just popped the poster for Retribution in the Discord, and now that I'm seeing it, it's bubbling up some memories. I think I may have witnessed it as a kid, or at least seen the box art.
Yeah,
Your description has sold me on it. I want to see it.
It's neat. I actually did a video on it a while ago, and I was talking to people that worked on it, and I wasn't able to get a hold of the director. But then after the fact, the director had seen it. He contacted me and like just thanked me profusely for talking positively about this film that at the time nobody had really, nobody was giving it any love.
Right.
And it was just really cool. He's a really, really nice guy. It's just funny. Really nice guy, and his name is Guy.
Oh.
Yeah, the other kind of weird thing we have going on in this movie is this love triangle or unrequited love, that because Debbie used to go out with Dave and now she's with Mike, and so it's just this tension there underlying.
And the thing is, too, there's the love triangle there, but neither of the guys are really like bad. Like you can kind of see why it would have gone out with either of them.
Right.
It's not like, oh, this is the jerky ex-boyfriend. It's like, no, he's still like a genuinely good guy. It just didn't work out for whatever reason.
Yeah. I ship Dave and Debbie as well.
Dave was originally supposed to die in, like he was written to die in the film, but they wanted the movie to kind of have a more of an upbeat ending, so they reshot the ending where he lives.
Right.
Jack Daniels in a styrofoam cup.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Mooney is a whole mood. He is a whole mood.
Yeah. Oh, how can you not love Mooney?
Now that actor, the pharmacist, he's from one of my favorite films, Porky's. He played the principal.
Oh, wow.
So many principals and deans in this movie.
I know.
I totally forgot that. Yeah, I love Porky's. You want to talk about a movie that could not be made today?
Okay.
That's a mood.
Oh, Mooney.
The whole town's in trouble and they're against me? Well, screw them.
Yes.
It's kind of like that
There it
meme
is.
of principals. There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
The clown driving next to you at night.
Who would do that? Who would like look out and down?
Yeah, and you know, this scene, I think they had to film, they filmed it like on the studio back lot, and then they filmed it on location, and they were going to scrap it, right? But the editor was like, no, I could save it. I can make it work. And that car going over was supposed to be a much larger kind of explosion ending to that chase scene. But there was some like mishap with how they set it up and how they did it. And yeah.
Yeah, they had a sandbag under the wheel, and when they released the car, they were supposed to pull back the sandbag, which would have made it speed up and go faster over the bridge. But somebody screwed up and didn't pull the sandbag, so it just sort of fumbled off the bridge. And then they were like, "Well, can't afford to reshoot it, so
there you go.
That's gonna be it."
The creeping popcorn.
Popcorn. Oh, I think for me, the popcorn moving is creepier than the steak moving in Poltergeist.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know.
There's so many of them.
Big Top Burgers.
And he just has the medical bag full of popcorn.
Yeah, it's me whenever I go to the cinema. I just bring my medical bag full of popcorn.
You know, the clowns don't have too many facial expressions. So I know it's probably controlled. I'm guessing animatronics was primarily done for the facial expressions, for the facial movement of the clowns. And I think the guy who did it also worked on like Pacific Rim, and he's worked on Critters and Gremlins. I think his name was Dwight Roberts. But Cecil, I don't know if you kind of know anything about kind of the facial movements of the clowns. Sometimes when they're talking, their mouths aren't really moving, but sometimes they are.
I think a lot of it comes down to budget, because usually when they were working on it, because the clowns, they smartly made them not speak any kind of English. They just they have their own language, and that made it easier for them to kind of just make mouth movements and then make whatever noises they needed to go along with it. But usually when they were doing the practicals for the things, if it was like a full person, they had numerous wires and everything kind of running behind them, and they had anywhere from like 3 to 5 people controlling the different aspects of it. You had one guy doing the eyes, one guy would do the mouth, one guy would do like the cheeks, and it was I mean, that's one of the things with animatronics and puppetry, is in order to do it to the point of where it looks good, you always have to have numerous people working on it. And I think that's why a lot of studios now avoid it, because they don't have to hire as many people.
Right. Right.
But to me, in the long run, you might have to hire more people to work on something, but then you know right away what it looks like, because it's all done in camera.
Right.
Whereas now it's like they're shooting everything and then hoping that they can fix it in post, as they say.
Yes. This is another great scene with the shadow puppets.
Yeah, this is just, it's terrific. Yeah, another just element of creativity where everybody's loving it, and then just the T-Rex. Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure I would be that guy who just goes, boo. I think I'd egg on the clown and pay for it with my life.
I love how they get more and more ridiculous, though.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it's physically impossible for him to do.
I wonder what stage direction they were given, like, to just dance around to that.
Yeah, just look amazing. Yeah, look like, oh, this is incredible. And then this. Oh, that was the at one point it was the remote control police car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
It, like, when you're watching it, I mean, I've seen this countless times, but the first time you watch it, you don't notice it. You watch it, you notice it the 5th, 6th time, whatever. But it just adds to the cheese factor of it. It's like, it's just so campy. It works, you're willing to forgive those little things because the movie is so fun.
Exactly.
and it smiles and laughs at itself as well. So it's something you can enjoy its shortcomings.
Oh yeah, I am way more forgiving of a movie like this where it's, you know, a $2 million B movie that just has so much heart and love behind it than when you're watching like a $200 million film and there's a really obvious bad moment in it or something. It's like, you guys had the money where you could have fixed this, but you didn't. You know, these guys, they were just, you know, it was all duct tape and chewing gum. They were trying to hold this whole thing together.
Infinitely more entertaining.
Absolutely. Oh, and the Terenzi brothers are back. Another fun thing, while the Kyoto brothers were looking for somebody to do the theme song for the film, and they had contacted the band the Dickies, and they hadn't even started filming yet. And they said, "Hey, we want to do this movie, and we want you guys to do the song for it." The movie's called Killer Clowns, and they're like, "We're in." They're like, "We'll write the song. We love it." They love the idea, so they actually wrote and recorded the song before they were even done filming.
That's amazing. And they, I don't even think they had the script. They kind of just like thought about what the song should be for a movie about killer clowns.
Pretty much. And it, you know, it's perfect. And the song fits perfect so well.
It's I think it's one of the best movie theme songs out there. And
I made dancing.
Have you seen the video? The video is hilarious in all this 80s glory. Oh.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I love the I don't know if they came up with it or not, but I love the tagline for the movie, "In space, no one can eat ice cream."
Right.
So good.
Oh my gosh.
Just the city's on fire. He's smoking a cigar.
Exactly. He's like, I'm 2 years from retirement. I don't care.
I'm so done with all of you.
Yeah, I think I'm getting old now because I used to really relate to, you know, the heroic characters. I'm now relating to Sheriff Mooney. I'm like, yeah.
Exactly. Me too.
Get me that styrofoam cup and the Jack Daniels and the cigar. Let them all burn. I love that line.
Oh, I love that.
What you goddamn to do?
He's kind of channeling Mr. Strickland from Back to the Future too, you know?
Oh yeah.
Just that curmudgeon. He just hates everything. You see him with a shotgun, just, clowns.
Now the clown's just messing with him. I love it.
Don't put the clown in here with us.
I know.
I love the walk too.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, now you didn't piss them off. Oh, that was genius.
Poor Mooney.
Yeah.
Totally deserved it, but poor Mooney.
Oh yeah. Well, we still got one more scene with Paul. So.
Yes, yes.
The full circle, as it were, where
Exactly.
Was it not gonna make a clown out of me, or
you're not gonna make a dummy out of me?
You're not gonna make a dummy out of me. That's right. You're gonna make a dummy out of me. Oh, it's so great.
Oh, these shoe prints on the floor.
The attention to detail, with ideas like that, it's just perfect.
Again, it probably stems from like, what would a clown do? And then make it sinister.
And that's like the beauty of it. I mean, I imagine that because when the Kyoto brothers grew up was when there were the circus is coming to town, and so it was much more common back then. So they probably saw all these things in their childhood and were like, hey, what could we do in a movie that normally you would see it, you wouldn't think much of it, but if we put something like clown footprints, make it sinister, make it evil, and it works so well. It's something like this, where it's kind of like a fun house because the feet are all over the place. Probably got some design cues from like Chuck E. Cheese too,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is also a terrifying place.
It certainly is. It's the animatronic band.
Yes.
You have they're just creepy because they have that almost lifelikeness to them.
Right. And then it's the jerky movements.
Yes, it's just creepy and weird. You know what? I want to do I'm going to do an updated video on this. I'm always curious as to what they actually used for the cotton candy.
Yeah.
Did they get like silly string and paint it pink or something, or here we go.
Mm-hmm.
This is great.
Yeah, I don't know what's creepier, if it's the blood coming down around the mouth and the chin, or when the clown pulls his hand out from his back and kind of, wipes it off. Ugh.
It's very effective, really.
Update about the cotton candy. Onzi is telling me that it was spiderweb machines with coloring.
Ah, okay. There we go.
There we go.
Yes, love that he figures out you got to shoot him in the nose. And this thing had a cylinder with mirrors on it that they spun around and shot reflected light off of. And then they added like the green and all the other opticals like in post. So it was a neat little combination of practical and opticals.
And that's really the only, I mean, I don't see any other way for them to go but something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they've done. They do a couple of times in this. They did it with that. They did it with the shadow puppets, and it's necessary to get that to work. And it's a big difference from that and CG. It's you know, it's still a practical effect. It's just kind of, you know, they do it after the fact.
So far, what's your favorite kind of kill scene? You know, what's your favorite kill scene so far? This for our guests and the folks in the chat.
It's got to be knock your block off.
Yeah,
that's my favorite kill scene.
Yeah, it's that, and I also have a soft spot for the T-Rex shadow puppet.
Oh yeah,
I think the knock your block off is just so it's just so funny, and you're not entirely you know something is going to happen, but when it happens, it's just hilarious.
and it's one of the only times you kind of root for the clowns. Maybe with Mooney as well, but
yeah,
not a doubt in my mind when it's a street cleaner. It's adorable.
I thought the Thanksgiving Macy's parade was scary, but this is creepy.
If you would have stayed under the car, you would have made it.
Right? Ah, yes, the scene they've been building up for several scenes now.
Yes.
Now, really, like, she could just leave.
Yeah, she could.
Like, I mean, just the door's right there.
Yeah, I think maybe these popcorn thingy killers are probably most effective when there's a lot of them, I'm guessing, and it kind of overwhelms a person.
Oh, this is good too.
Yes. Oh, this is awesome.
This is why Aquanet was banned. Good one from Chaos Sphere in the chat. Yeah.
Something new. They put her in a ball, not the cotton candy.
Yeah, a call for Mooney that came in was yeah, someone saying, what, they took your wife away in a balloon?
Yeah, I know
Even that
some
was
people have
foreshadowed.
had problems with, well, why did they put her in a balloon and they didn't, put her in the cotton candy? And it was like, well, if she went in the cotton candy, she would have died. So I mean,
Exactly.
we had, you couldn't kill off the main heroine, but they had to do this, they had to have her, the damsel in distress, as it were, which is again, a throwback to the old 50s sci-fi movies.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love the absurdity of the clown car being chased by the ice cream truck, being chased by the police car.
Oh, some classic like overclocking of the camera as well to make it seem quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What?
See, the two romantic rivals are even getting along-ish.
Right. He's commandeering the ice cream truck for official police business.
There we go. And then there's the pier.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, this is another great scene.
I do like the fact that he reaches in and you think he's going to pull out a flask, but he just pulls out a sandwich.
Right.
So which clown is your favorite design?
I personally like the little tiny clown, the one that knocked the guy's block off. This guy, the guy with the green hair,
Yeah,
he just has like the perfect mixture of like creepy, but also kind of almost innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I really want some cherry pie for some reason now.
Death by pies. Wow.
That's how I want to go.
I'm sure somebody has at least just
Right.
had one pie too many.
Exactly.
That it's just a steaming pile of cream and so funny. He just puts the cherry on top.
Make it the perfect sundae. Oh, the music's still playing in the ice cream truck. Pumpkin pie is good.
I have a confession to make. I've never been inside of a funhouse.
Oh.
Never been through a funhouse before. Nope. Too late now. I'm good.
I think I have, but not in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if do they even still have like fun houses? I'm sure they they do. But
I know of
it's more
one.
rare. Oh yeah.
Because I'm in Vegas, and well, there's the hotel that's just themed like Adventure Park. I think the Funhouse is called. It's this big theme park inside the hotel, and I can't remember the name of the hotel now. It's just got a clown on the front of it. It's one of the oldest hotels in Vegas, but I'm sure there's a Funhouse there, and I've never been to that. I probably should scratch it off my list.
Yeah,
I think there you go.
When I think movie fun houses, I always think of something like this, or the fun house in Dr. Giggles, where it's just all the mirrors and
yeah,
just, but I'm sure going to one now, you would just be disappointed. It's like, oh, it's not this cool. I'm not being chased by Larry Drake. Yeah.
Now, Lizard Man from our chat asked a good question. How much of this place is the actual fun house, and how much of it is the ship, or it's been kind of reformed by the ship?
I would say probably the majority of it is the ship, or there might be a point where they get, where they go to where it really starts to get more wacky. I think that might be maybe the transition into where it is actually the ship. Like, this is probably still the fun. Yeah, now they're in the ship,
right?
But I think that part back there was probably just the fun house.
When the floor is totally obscured by dry ice, that's when you know you're in the ship.
You're on a clown UFO.
Big red button. Can you resist pushing the big red button?
Can you resist? Can you resist?
And of course, the Terenzi brothers can't.
Of course.
I do wonder how hard it was for these actors to basically not laugh. Like, okay, yeah, you have to play this straight,
right?
Like, you're terrified, but you're walking through this and landing in a ball pit, and
I imagine it's difficult. I mean, I have trouble not smiling and laughing when I'm taking a photograph. So then again, I'm not trained. Oh God, I forgot that these two were here.
Oh yeah, the clown girls.
Yes, we could have a shoot off of a film called Earth Guys Are Easy.
What?
Gosh.
Oh, it's somebody's fetish, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
exactly right. Especially now when you have the what's it called, the furries.
Oh God, yeah, the furries.
There's gonna be clownies out there as well.
The clownies.
I can't remember. Is this totally unchanged background? Like, were there this many?
Oh yeah, that was all. Yeah, that was the. I mean, like, I think the bottom row, I think, is all there, and then like the top rows are all matte painting.
Yeah. It's just the way that Mike was like, they must have the whole town up in here. I was like, is there any difference? Does this look identical to how you saw it initially?
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Probably it was, going back, I'd have to look and see, but I am curious. Maybe they didn't show the top rows before.
Because that would be a neat attention to detail.
Yeah, where it is actually like the whole town.
Got to scratch out that population sign that's in front of the town now to scratch out to like 4.
You know, another thing that reminded me of this film, or this film reminded me of, was how the tent, moved location from the wood to now in this new location. Kind of reminded me of the film Kroll, where you had the fortress like kept moving, the planner or whatever, like it kept moving
every day.
every day.
Yeah, that way you could never, the heroes had a really hard time finding it.
Right.
Oh, the elaborate silly straw.
Yes.
Oh,
I used to have these straws as a kid. I used to have some that were glasses, so it would go all around my eyes, all around my head.
Oh, I never saw one like that. I saw one, not quite this elaborate, but they were awesome. My son likes to make his own like silly straws, and then he gets all sad because he'll try to do it, and I'm just like trying to explain physics to him. I'm like,
no, isn't get different straws and like daisy chain them together?
Yeah. Because we have the straws that have like a little bendy part in them, so he'll take like 5 of them together and bend it, and then he'll try to bend it himself. And I'm like, no, it doesn't quite work. And he's still young, so he doesn't. But it's funny. But I'm like, no, but I understand where you're coming from. Like,
engineer in the making, clearly.
Seriously.
Look at how bouncy these things are. How restrained did he have to be to not just punch a hole in that thing? For once, like, shooting the thing worked. Usually in horror films, it doesn't work at all. There's an elaborate way of doing it, but no, punch a hole in it, it works.
I wonder if that was their thought process. They're like, look, we're going to do it so the shooting actually works for a change.
Yeah. Sharon in the chat, Cecil, says that she also used to do that when she was a kid with the silly straws. Silly straws?
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of kids have done similar things. It's just one of those grand overarching things where if you don't have silly straws, make your own.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone has tried to map out the geography of this interior ship. I'm sure there's fan-made maps out there somewhere.
Right.
It's probably a Counter-Strike map.
Yes, I would love that.
Oh, look at that.
Like how there's very little questioning there.
This is a very creative chase. I like how they did this.
And again, why they couldn't redo this now. It just wouldn't work.
The fact that it feels very ethereal and B-movie like gives it that unearthly quality that's so enduring. And if it is this big CG fortress, it wouldn't have the same charm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean they're walking through balloons and they're acting terrified. If they did that now, they would probably put something in the balloons to make it. I don't know. It's just I think sometimes the restraint it ends up working in the favor.
Yeah, when you're restrained, you have to figure out ways to be more creative, and that creative vein that they mine wouldn't be there if there's an easier option. Like this.
the tiny each door. Little tiny
Not the door.
And he's got the dog, the balloon animal dog.
Right.
Yeah.
Barking. Now they looks like they're in the heart of the ship.
I swear I had a birthday party here in the 90s at some point.
I do like that. Here's where they introduced like more of the clowns. Like there were the 5 main clowns, but now there is all these additional clowns that we didn't see before.
So the threat is a serious one.
Right.
Yeah, it's not just a couple of clowns. There is a lot of clowns.
I love the lipstick marks all over them.
Reminds me of Gremlins too.
I knew that ice cream truck was going to have to come in handy sooner or later.
The great and mighty Jojo.
Yeah, who knew an ice cream truck had like was structured so well that it could smash through a wall and it really wouldn't bother all that much.
Should be a commercial for GMC trucks.
Now we get Clownzilla.
Oh yeah, Jamaica clown. Like they really could just exit out the back of the car.
Right.
And then run.
Now Clownzilla was supposed to be, I think, stop animation, but of course, due to budget, they just had one of the brothers, I think it was Charles, put on the clown suit, and then they just kind of filmed him at different weird angles and used miniatures.
Yeah, stop motion is great, but stop motion is also very, very time consuming.
Yes.
Yeah. I did a few stop motion shorts as a child with a video camera, just taking still frames. Like 8 hours of work to get 13 seconds of just walking. It takes a while. It takes dedication.
Right. And with the low budget, I mean, it'd end up looking like the stop motion from Basket Case, you know?
Yes.
So this is much better. Now, for the guests and for the chat, who would win in a fight? Clownzilla or the Queen alien from Aliens?
Ooh.
I mean, realistically, I would probably say the Queen Alien, but in the context of how this is, the clown would probably pull out something silly and would be able to kill the Queen Alien. It's such a
banana peel, have a slip on it and fall out.
Right. It would. I guess it would also depend on who is directing it. You know, like, like, are they going to make it serious or they're going to make it silly?
Right. Anzi from the chat asked, do you guys think that these alien clowns just tuned into our Earth TV broadcast and imitated the look, disguised themselves as Earth clowns because they found it sinister but funny, or that their planet is one giant carnival shaped balloon with clowns?
Oh.
That's a good question.
seriously, I think that they are probably, as bizarre as it is, but I mean, this is that kind of movie, that they are just a race of clowns.
Clowns.
I mean,
Like the
because they're not
brothers said.
disguised. You know, they
Yeah.
are actual clowns. You know, it's not makeup or anything. So
Right, right.
Yeah, like the brothers said, they just stopped by for a bite to eat.
right. I love that it's a
State troopers like,
Okay, that female cop is all of us. She's like, what?
yeah. I'm seeing this. I love that he's holding a Ken doll.
yeah.
Yeah, I think originally the big clown ate him, but they really didn't. You know, they didn't feel that. You know that they needed more of a happy ending. So
Right, right.
Oh, the lighting here as well. I love it. Which is scarier, the killer clowns or the Teletubbies? Ooh.
Ooh.
The Teletubbies have the sun on their side, so I don't know. I think they might win out.
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah, we know the Teletubbies have killed before. We just don't know how many.
Exactly.
That's where all the tubby custard comes from.
Oh my gosh. You know, I think the MVP of this movie is that ice cream truck. I really do.
Yeah. GMC, one hell of a truck. So we need someone pointing to the camera, just looking at the camera. GMC, one hell of a truck.
From what I had gathered, what they wanted to do with the sequel was they did want to show at some point the aliens' home planet, which I think the potential for hilarity is just like, I wouldn't want the whole movie to take place there,
right?
But
right.
I think seeing it would just be a way for them to be as creative as they possibly could be.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that was great fun. Oh my gosh. And yes, this song is amazing.
Yes,
So,
yes,
the Dickies. So, guys,
Phenomenal.
That was really fun. That was really fun. That holds up for me. This holds up all these years later. Of course, the practical effects, the fast-paced script, the actors being committed, like all the way committed to this movie. So no, this was a fun one. Any kind of final thoughts on this film? Favorite scene, favorite kill?
I love it. I've always loved it. I think it's an excellent film. It's so much fun. It's got everything that this kind of movie should have. It's really sad that the Kyoto brothers have to fight over trying to make a sequel to this. Like, this seems to me like a no-brainer. Like, right. Okay, give them in today's dollars, okay, the original cost $2 million. Okay, give them $5 million.
Right.
And $5 million is, it's a lot of money to us, but to like Hollywood, that's such a drop in the bucket. You would be able to make that back very easily. Even if the film underperforms, you're still going to make $5 million back. So exactly. For them to just not do a sequel is just really sad. I hope one day they can get it. I know they keep inching towards it, and it like almost happens, and then it just something comes in and makes it so it can't happen. So I hope they can make it happen. And I would say, going to the favorite scene and favorite kill, going back, the knock your block off. It's just the favorite scene and favorite kill. It's just so silly. It's a perfect little scene.
Yeah. And how about you, Dom?
I mirror Cecil's thoughts exactly. I love that scene. If I was to show a person who doesn't like horror movies one scene from a horror film, it might be that scene. Just sprinkling in some details. But yeah, going in completely blind, I'd say that scene is what this movie is. Just stretch it out to 88 minutes, and it's a non-stop fun thrill ride. It's such a lovely movie.
Yes. No, I would have to agree to knock your block off. And for me, I would also, a close second would be the pies. I just, when he did the cherry on top, that was just like, nailed it. Yeah. So, wow. So, Cecil, is there anything coming up for you? Anything special you want to announce, or anything you want to share with our community?
No, I mean, I just, I've got a lot of really great videos planned for the rest of the year. Some really unexpected things that I think the audience is gonna, really enjoy, and things that I'm really excited. One video in particular, I'm not ready to announce it, but something that is one of those holy grail videos, something that I never ever expected to be able to do this, but I finally was able to get a hold of the director, and as far as I know, no one else has ever talked about this. Well, people have talked about this thing, but nobody has ever been able to tell the story of how this happened. So I'm really excited to put that out. That'll probably be out in either probably December. But yeah, I've got some really great stuff lined up, and I'm really excited when we start filming In Search of Darkness 3. I have just a ridiculous list of things I want to talk about, because
I know you do.
You want to talk about my wheelhouse? Like, this is where we're going to, all the really, really obscure stuff.
Yes.
So I can't wait. I think everybody that got in, thank you very much. And I think when the final product does finally come out, I know you guys are gonna love it.
Yes, no, and we're definitely looking forward to having you be a part of that too, because I know you have some gems to share with us on a couple of these films that we're going to be featuring in Search of Darkness 3. So, well, thanks everyone in the chat for hanging out with us today for Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Next week in our In Search of Tomorrow sci-fi Discord, we will be, the film will be Earth Girls Are Easy, the very, very colorful and very 80s film with faces that we are all familiar with now. And then the week after that, back with horror, is going to be Silver Bullet with Corey Haim and Gary Busey before he became Gary Busey. So looking forward to that one as well. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon, evening. And if you had a good time, be sure to share on the Book of Faces, the world of Twitter, and in those Instagram streets about our watch parties. Thank you. Bye.
See you later, everybody.